Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
Now? Go?
Yes, go.
Go where?
Back to basics.
You know what I'd like? You know, it's a good idea.
Back to basics.
What does that mean?
What are the basics of what?
I'm not looking.
I guess everything is perspective. The basics of life or the basics of this podcast? Which, if we go back to the basics of this podcast, it would be snobby reviews,
Snobby reviews?
which we veered from episode 1.
Yeah, that didn't last very long.
So it didn't really
But
take.
that wasn't our basic.
What was our basics? Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class. Would that not be our basics?
No, that's our motto.
Oh.
And we did.
What's a motto with you?
There's a lot that's motto with me. First off,
And you know what? Speaking of which, I noticed in a lot of our podcasts,
Yeah.
you reference your PTSD.
yeah. What
Do you
about-
just reference that into whatever, in regards to what?
Why'd you bring that up? You know I have PTSD. I just no. Do I? Do I really?
Okay, I say a lot.
Can I-
You've referenced it twice.
Can I
that
bring this up? Well, since you brought this up,
Can you
before we
yes,
get
let's do a
back
double
to
bring up?
basics, I currently can't. I don't have the time.
Feel your legs?
I don't have the time. I don't have the time nor the wherewithal to seek mental health counseling. And so I just utilize this podcast for that. So I just kind of air out my own private stuff on the podcast as a form of just release.
That makes for good podcast
it
fodder.
does. It does. It's like being on Maury.
Yes.
Is Maury still a thing?
I think so.
I haven't heard, I don't watch daytime, well, I don't watch television at all, but I haven't heard anything about daytime television in a while.
I don't know anything except Ellen's still on.
Ellen will always be on. All right, favorite talk show, daytime talk show host, go.
Gerardo Rivera.
I was about to say the same thing. Yes. Do you remember when he went to open up, was it like Al Capone's?
I think you referenced
safe?
this several podcasts ago, actually.
And it was empty.
It was empty. Poor Geraldo. He was a showman.
I love Geraldo.
What about, didn't somebody punch him in the nose or something one time?
Yeah, he got
broke his
punched.
nose.
He got fired. And I love his mustache. Anybody who can maintain a mustache.
It's thick and luxurious.
He's got a luxurious mustache.
But I did have something I was going to discuss with you.
But it was the basics, wasn't it?
Well, besides going back to basics,
Okay.
you might, huh?
That's okay. I said, I went to say no, and then I said, okay. So
Okay.
I said, I didn't want to.
Careful.
I know.
Did you hear there's a new Batman?
Yes, I heard.
And
Okay, so here's the thing.
I guess we could say bat to basics.
That's a good one, actually. So his name now leaves me Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson. So let's just discuss actors as a whole. Wait, before I get on that tangent, here is my review of Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
They're calling him Battinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Why does everything got to be incorporating somebody's name now? Batfleck. They never called him Michael Batten. I mean, what is that a new thing? Making it part of the person's
Well, that's like
name?
everything was like they took couples and they combined them. You know, like
shipping.
Brangelina.
Oh, yes.
Remember Brad Pitt?
Brangelina. Wow, you went way back.
Well, because that was the first one was
Oh, no, wait.
Brangelina.
No. Jennifer Aniston.
And who? Yeah,
Brad.
Yeah, but he wasn't Brad and
But
Ann.
then it was Brangelina.
It was Brangelina.
Because you can't, well, your relationship's destined to fail if you can't make a, what do they call that?
It's
When you merge two names together.
Can we hard merge our names together? Jerby. It's a Jerby. Or Gary.
But that's like a real
weird.
name.
That's
not,
a weird
it's
name. Doesn't sound
okay.
like.
No. Anyway, Robert Pattinson, go.
I like him. He's going to make an excellent Batman. Fight me. Change my mind.
I literally don't know his body of work. I know he was a sparkly vampire,
Yes.
but I've never seen those movies.
So after that,
But I hear he's done pretty much nothing but like independent type stuff, and I hear he's a good actor.
he is a good actor. And people often forget that a lot of the people who have played various characters in the past have not just been great. Their body of work has been in question. For instance, let me just hang on. I got to pull up my pop culture machine here. So like, okay, let's just take the Joker.
My Wi-Fi not working.
Your Wi-Fi's not working. So
Use your phone. What do you want to know? I'll look it up.
I don't
for
need
you.
to know. I got it here. I've closed my eyes. So the man that played
As long as
Joker,
it's not forever.
he played Joker. What's his name?
Jack Nicholson.
Nope.
Oh, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger, he was a teen rom-com guy.
Yeah.
Teen movies. He had no business.
Knight's Tale.
He had no business.
10 Things I Hate About You.
Him
Yeah.
and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Love that guy. There was no reason for him to be the Joker or to think he would be a good Joker, but he's awesome. I think Robert Pattinson, the last show that I seen him in was Lost City of Z or Lost City of Z with Charlie Hunnam, the guy who was
Oh, yeah. I've seen that on Amazon or
it's
something.
you won't like it because it's actually I'm about to
don't
segue
you
so
judge
hard into
me.
this. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Hard merge, go.
Hard merge this because it's about the Major Fawcett. Fawcett?
Farrah?
No, the guy who went to look for the lost city of Z down in South America and then was never heard from again. Which, strangely enough, is the campaign for Robinson Crusoe Mystery Tales, the expansion. And I'm super excited. And I just punched that out and threw the box away. And because I put all the components in the original box, I have no problem throwing away boxes, by the way. I'm not a hoarder. Again, good therapy.
Major Fawcett's expedition was bound to... That doesn't really work.
That doesn't
Too bad it wasn't on a boat. I could say
wasn't-
sink.
No, it was on
Fawcett
land.
sank.
Robert Pattinson was in that one. He played his trusty guide, and he was good in
He
it.
just made some movie like space related, and it's like him and this little girl, and like it was got rave reviews, but nobody saw it, of course. It just came out like a couple months ago, I think, or maybe last year. But I hear he's a good actor. I don't know nothing about him. I really don't care because people just, like you said, Heath Ledger, and then he's like greatest one ever.
Yeah,
People thought Ben Affleck would be terrible, but people are like, oh, he's pretty good.
I haven't watched any Ben Affleck as Batman. I didn't watch the. I don't care for it. My favorite Batman is still Michael Keaton.
Really?
Yeah, love that man.
It's been a while since I've seen that one, so I
That's
can't
good.
really comment on
That
whether
was
or
the
not.
first.
Can't comment on whether or not Michael Keaton.
That was the first movie I saw in theaters. Yes, my family.
How
Didn't.
do you remember that?
I remember because my family never went to the movie theater, and
I can't remember the first movie I
we
saw in
walked
theaters.
into the movie theater to buy tickets for something else. And I ambled away from my family, went into the theater by myself, opened the door, and saw Jack Nicholson as the Joker shooting that guy, the old guy. Can't remember the guy. And that was it. That was the first scene I'd ever seen on television screen, was the original Batman. And so that been in
I can remember
went and
some
watched it.
pretty far back stuff. Like I remember Temple of Doom.
That was a good one. Did you buy... Question. Did you buy the Indiana Jones VHS tapes when they came out? And did you buy them
Did
from...
I?
Yes.
I was a small child.
Did you
I
buy-
could buy nothing.
Did your parents buy them from McDonald's
No.
or whatever they were being sold? They were like being sold at
The
random
only time
places.
we ever had VHS cassettes was in they recorded something off the TV.
My mom won a VHS. It was nice.
She won it?
She won it at Walmart.
What does VHS stand for?
Video High Sound. I don't know. But
Video headset.
No, but it was good. It's good. My mom won it in the drawing at Walmart, and then we had it, and then we had to buy a video, and we bought Indiana Jones and the Last
We
Crusade.
didn't have that kind of money.
It's like 25
We
bucks.
pirated
It's like
things off the
25
TV.
bucks for a VHS tape. That price is not going down.
Remember having to adjust the tracking?
Yeah.
Everything. God, if it's blurry, adjust that
I
tracking.
remember my first trip to Blockbuster. We lived
Oh, you had a Blockbuster?
no, we lived like
Fancy.
50 miles from a Blockbuster. And I actually
Was
got
it here in Paris?
Yes.
That's about the only blockbuster I knew of.
Yes. We had to go to a
We had a Curtis Mathis.
Oh, it's a couch company. They sell couches, don't they?
No, I think they sold a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
I think it was a rent-to-own type place.
Is that all that you wanted to ask me is about this Batman character that I don't care anything about?
So, also...
Oh, okay, you're killing me with this banter section. This is the extended banter.
That's what I'm here for.
All
right, fine. Go into your games. I guess we're here to talk about games.
Let's get back to basics.
Back to basics. Let's be snooty about the games we play.
Okay, well...
Although, back to basics for us was originally like, we're not going to mess around with games we kind of like or games that are okay.
Right, and that's what we've done.
Back to basics. We're just going to talk about stuff, and if it's not up to par, it's not going to be Board Game Snobs approved.
It's not.
Did we say our names? I'm Gabi.
This is Jerry. Man, this is why this podcast got messed up because we started drinking prior to recording.
Well,
and then we've had this issue with.
Wait, I gotta smell it.
What kind of glasses are these?
It's just called a snifter.
A snifter.
I wonder if it's because you sniff it.
Well, your first mistake was buying cheap bourbon.
I did. Well, it was given to me, so I can't really complain.
Well, then we won't complain. We'll never look a gift horse in the mouth.
Gift horse.
I'm telling you right now.
Suffering suck it there.
I love that guy. Whatever happened to him?
Mel Blanc?
Yeah. He's dead, isn't he?
I'm sure he's dead.
He's dead.
I mean, he was making cartoons in the 30s.
We miss you, Mel.
Here's the Mel.
Snifters. It's quite snifty.
That's good stuff.
This is Jerry, and this is Gabi. We're the Board Game Snobs, and mainly this podcast is about board games, but we like to spend a little time...
We like to have fun here.
Talking about other things, just to kind of warm up the podcast, because I know a lot of you listeners listen with your wives or your significant others, and they're probably...
SOs.
Your SOs. Perhaps the person that you're listening with this podcast to is not so much in the board games, and they like current events. Well, there you go. See, we have something for everybody here. Carpe Diem, as we like to say.
They're very good.
Thank you. This was exactly the game we're going to talk about. Carpe Diem, which was nominated for the Kinner Spielathon. The Spiel des Jahres, right? It was the Spiel. The Kinner Spiel. The game of the year, German game of the year. The designer.
Have they done it yet?
No, it was nominated. And so Carpe Diem, which is a game by Stefan Feld.
Which means catch the fish.
What?
Catch the fish?
I get it. Carp.
Yes.
No, it's seize the day.
Seize it.
Seize it. Carpe.
Oh.
Carpe is seize. So you're actually getting... I see what you did there.
Exclamation. Used to urge someone to make the most of the present time and give little thought to the future.
Okay.
That's how I live my life.
Well, here's the deal. I urge you to give thought to your present time by not spending time playing this game. It was a point salad. I call it a complicated Carcassonne. Essentially, the games began with you putting out your little meeples in the middle of this board, and you were allowed to trace your path in a weird pattern, whichever way.
Yeah, wherever you were at, you had two different paths to choose from.
Yeah.
And then from that, whichever one you went to there, then you had two different ones, then two different ones.
It's just goofy.
You just zigzagged back and forth across the board.
And picked up tiles. These tiles were of fields and buildings. On your player board, you got points for where you placed these tiles for these certain fields and buildings, and they gave you certain bonuses. It was a complicated Carcassonne. I don't know why, and the artwork was very drab. The cover art.
Stefan Feld?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was... We played it at BGG. We got it taught to us. We sat there, looked it over. I read the rule book just to make sure I had my thoughts firmly in mind when I was going to play it, and it was a drag. Now, I don't know if we have any Stefan Feld fans that listen to us, because we're not really
sure.
But if we do,
I like Castles of Burgundy, the card game.
Castles of Burgundy is a good game. And if you are a Stefan Feld fan, then, okay, you're going to buy this, and it's going to be fine. But it was certainly on the lighter side of Stefan Feld's. It was probably the lightest Stefan Feld I'd ever played.
I think one of the reasons I enjoyed playing it, and this is something I just enjoy anyway. You ever know that feeling like when you're playing a game You might not, but
Okay. I have no
like
feelings.
when you're playing a game and
only
at
know
first you don't understand it.
Anxiety and dread. So is that what you're referring to?
Anxiety, sure.
Okay.
But I like the feeling when you're playing a game and it clicks. Like, oh, now I get it. So I had that moment in this game.
I don't ever have that moment, no.
I know, because you get it right away.
Do
right?
I get it? I understand it.
I know you
Why
do.
would I engage in something that I don't, quote unquote,
Well, it
get?
takes me a while to get it.
Okay.
I'm not as fast on the pickup as
Did you get it?
Yes,
Did
I
you got it?
Yes, and
Well,
actually,
good.
I got it quicker than you did.
You did. You carpe
You were
diem.
over there.
You carpe
I
diem.
carpe the crap out of that diem.
Well, did good for you. Now talk
And
about it.
I got it. And I was like, oh, and that gives me a good feeling. I was like, oh, I understand what I'm doing. I always feel good when I'm doing that. And so the excitement of that kind of had me thinking, I'm enjoying this. But then the game continued on.
For another 10, 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, at least.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, now the thrill is gone.
The thrill
is gone. And I mean, it's got something there on your board. So like if you're building it's got different structures you're building on your play board. And when you build across certain areas, like say you build across this, and everybody's board is different. It's asymmetrical. And like say it's got up here, you're going to build lakes. Well, if you build lakes on your board and you cross over the lake boundary here, it doesn't really matter. You get points. You get points for building across these boundaries. You get points for completing your buildings. It's just a point salad, and it is literally, to me, it was, once we figured out, I was like, this is Carcassonne.
Yeah.
You're just building things to finish them and get points with tiles. Smaller tiles on a smaller board, a few extra ways to earn points. The way you pick them up with a zigzag across the board and a star-shaped formation.
There was no... yeah.
I mean, it was... If I could say it was fine, but it was super dry. And if you're not into... Unless you're a Feld fan... Even at that,
Feld fan.
It's just unless you're a double F, I just don't think you'd enjoy this game
I think that
because it's on the light side, like you said.
It's
and
on the
Feld's
lighter
usually on the harder side.
I was shocked by how light this was. But
If you enjoy Castles in Burgundy, I don't think you'll enjoy this.
You don't
because
think
it's
so?
too simple.
it's too simple.
It's too simple, and it's just Carcassonne.
All right, there you have it.
And we don't. Okay,
We don't like
like Carcassonne.
Carcassonne.
Actually, I was going to bring this up.
We don't like Isle of Sky either.
I'm going to bring out, as you say, bring out the hate.
Bring it.
I want to do a Jerry. Hate Carcassonne.
Really?
I bought it because
Look into your soul and tell me
I
why.
understand that it's supposed to be this great entryway game of all time.
It's not.
I hated it from the get-go.
It's terrible.
It's tile laying.
Overrated.
It's boring.
It's boring.
You're just picking up a random tile, and they make variabilities or whatever. They make up different rules so that that's not quite as boring. Maybe you can draw up 3 and choose one, but that's not the rules. The rules are you just draw a tile, look at the board. You will you have an obvious generally place where you're going to place that tile. It's like a puzzle. If I draw a castle tile, well, obviously, I need to put it on my own castle that I'm building right now. Do I want to make it bigger or smaller? Ooh, big decision. Then you place it. Then you place your maple. It's just, I hate Carcassonne. And part of that now is I've advanced beyond Carcassonne. I enjoy heavier games. I don't understand how people still rant and rave about Carcassonne. We've moved past it, people. I would play this before I play Carcassonne.
But there you have it.
If you enjoy Carcassonne, throw it in the trash, move on.
Get Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem.
There you go. So if you're a Carcassonne fan, we recommend, well, one, we apologize. 2,
I'm sorry. I know. People love, that's a sacred cow, as Jerry likes to say.
I shouldn't have apologized. We don't like you. If you like Carcassonne, we probably don't like you either.
How dare you?
That was the
No,
snifter.
don't do that.
What?
You've sniffed too much. It's getting in your nostrils.
It's too bad. It's too bad.
Your eyes are rolling in the back of your head. But, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, if you like Carcassonne, you'll like
If you like
this.
Carcassonne, you'll love Carpe Diem, and it'll be a step up. And you can leave Carcassonne behind. It's okay to move on, move forward, advance. That's what Board Game Snobs is all about.
Advancing.
Yes.
Carpe that Carcassonne.
Even though our podcast has been the exact same for 50 episodes.
I know. Well, hey, we don't like change.
No.
I fear change.
No. All right, you know what? Stick with Carcassonne.
Change gives me anxiety and dread. It's not really my thing.
But we're not reviewers. We just like talking.
Yeah.
So
what do
go.
we know?
Carpe Diem.
More
we
than
do
you,
not
probably.
Like it.
That's what. We're seasoned. We know about board games. We also know about current
And
events.
I spilled some pepper on me, so.
You spelt pepper?
Seasoned.
You're seasoned. I get that.
Yeah.
That's another thing that hasn't changed. Our jokes are not. They've never gotten any
How
good.
dare you?
Well, every once in a while we'll get a good one in there, but other than that, no.
All right. So that was a BGG play.
Oh, now I'm gonna talk about the game that I wanted desperately to play. I am so thankful that somebody taught us this game because I don't think I would have wanted to learn it and played it.
What's that?
Escape Plan.
Oh.
And was taught by us, handsome Will Wheaton taught it. Chris.
Thanks, Will.
So he taught
Chris who?
And he did an excellent job teaching that, by the way.
Yes.
And I appreciate
He
people.
didn't shout at me one time.
He did not, but he did have that look of, I could see the life draining from his eyes.
He didn't talk down to me
He didn't talk
one
down to
time.
How did you understand if I'm not condescending to you, do you really hear?
Apparently so.
Oh.
Because I got it. And I finished third out of 5.
Bravo, sir.
Where did you finish?
4th, right behind you.
Oh, you were right there.
But that's not the point. It's not the point. This game is
Escape Plan. About that was
Vital Lacerda.
Lacerda.
Thank you for that.
Okay, go.
A lot of Vital Lacerda's games are very complicated. For instance, Kanban, the game of manufacturing cars, it's like playing 6 different small mini games at once, and it's not intuitive. I've played it, kind of on the fence about it. Some people really like it. It wasn't for me. The other Vital Lacerda game that I played was the Gallerist. I straight up did not like the Gallerist, not one bit. Gabi tend to lean towards it a little bit. I love the theme, love the artwork on it, but it just wasn't. The main mechanism was very poor.
I thought it was all right.
Escape Plan.
I didn't like the kick out constantly on Kanban.
No.
I'm not Kanban. Gallerist, where you could just go there. Oh, but am I blocked? No, I just boot you out.
With Escape Plan, it is probably one of the lighter Vital Lacerda games. It is the most abstract yet themeful game I have. Is themeful a word?
Oh, I'm sure.
Theme-induced game I have ever played. Mainly because the whole theme is that you have robbed a bank, you have scattered the money out and hid it, and now the escape plan. You're trying to get out of the city, collect the money that you have stashed everywhere, and get to the exit. And the way that this is done, for a game, I don't even know where to begin on this. So the game gives you this idea that you have to plan very, very carefully all of your moves because you have a finite amount of moves. There's only 3 days. You get to make 3 moves each day unless you get an extra turn. And by the end of that 3rd day, you're going to know on the map where the exit is. And there's 3 exits that end up coming out in play. And 2 of them are false. One of them is only the true exit. The map is not built when the game begins. It's built by the players as they take their turns. In turn order, they will place a portion of the map.
Modular board.
So it has this fog of war type thing. Like you don't really know what's coming out. And the other players who are in first place and second and third, they're placing the tiles out there. And they're putting things out that benefit them. So
well, when you first start playing, we just threw them out there because we literally didn't know what we were doing.
right. But Chris was...
Come down to the final round, it made all the difference in the world.
Absolutely. So there's that. That was a nice mechanism. The main thing that you do in this game is basically avoid the police. And by avoid it, I mean basically deal with them. These 3 different colored meeples, black, red, and blue, are the types of police that are on a tile. And anytime you exit from a tile, you're dealt damage, unless you have a way to get around that particular type of police officer. So you end up buying items that negate damage from the various colors of police officers. But if you don't, you end up taking damage, and damage at the end of the game can cost you money, and money is victory points, basically. You have an X amount of walking around money. It's just the cash that you got on you that you use to buy items, and that's very finite, and it's hard to manage that. And then basically the end of the game is what seals the deal. You spend these first 2 days trying to move around and get as much money as you can, but that last day, that tension that comes from trying to execute your escape and get out of the city.
Are you saying escape?
I say escape because when I say escape, I think of the keyboard escape.
Okay.
The escape button. ESC.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to escape. Or escape? I'm trying to get out. But get out doesn't sound like a good board game.
No, it's a movie.
It's a movie. But escape plan, that tension that comes, that last few turns, that is probably some of the most exciting, one of the most exciting experiences in board gaming I've had in a long time. Would you not agree?
Who, me?
Yes, you.
It was very fun.
I built that up, and your response was, that was very fun.
Well, I didn't quite enjoy it as much as you did.
No, you did not.
For example, on that last day, it was exciting for Chris because he barely had enough money.
He had no money.
Okay, he had no money. And if you're the first one to, leave, it's cheap. All you got to do is find the right exit.
Part of
Did you sniff that up?
Part of using a snifter is that you don't sniff it up your nose.
No, you're not supposed to snort your whiskey. You're supposed to drink it down your larynx. Or is it esophagus?
It's esophagus. Your larynx is to your lungs.
Oh, maybe it went down your larynx, though.
You've been doing it wrong so much. No, it's up in my...
I've been drinking straight to my lungs.
My nasal pharynx.
Larynx, pharynx?
No.
From the pharynx? Pharynx connected to the larynx. Is that how it goes?
No, yeah.
Is the pharynx connected to the larynx?
The nasal pharynx is up here, then it goes down, and then you bifurcates where there's either the esophagus to your stomach.
Explain, please.
Bifurcation, like a fork in the road.
Oh.
Bifurcate.
What does fricate mean?
I guess to fricate something.
What does that mean?
Like it means you go a different direction. Like you keep forgetting this podcast into a different direction.
Okay.
So there you go.
Is that only anatomy use? Can I use it when I come to an actual fork in the road?
Yes, the road is bifurcated.
It's bifurcated.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So next time you're driving on
this road is bifurcated.
It's bifurcated road. Huh. Don't say that.
Why?
It sounds odd.
Well, pharynx, bifurcation, larynx.
There you go.
Very good.
Sound good.
Learn something every day.
I liked Escape Plan, and I thought that the last bit of tension that came from those moves were excellent.
It was fine. But, okay, so Chris left. He was out. And fortunately, I can understand that the exit happened to be the one that he chose.
Right.
That was exciting for him.
He got to set that tile.
It didn't really matter to me. It's going to matter for some more than others. I was kind of in the middle of the board. I had enough money. I wasn't worried about escaping. Now, if you've played a tight game and you're being edgy, which I don't usually do,
which you were not.
I usually go straight down the middle, then it could be more exciting, I guess. And I can understand that. Chris won, so he went the path that he should have. Mike was on the other end of the board. Still made it out ahead of me, ahead of you, ahead of Bubba, ahead of Enrique.
I can't believe you don't.
So he stored enough money. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the game. I wasn't as enthralled with it as you were. Something else I discovered, and this is weird. I don't know why I feel this way, but this is the way I feel.
Maybe you're bifurcated.
Acknowledge me.
I'm
and hear me.
I'm hearing you. Witness me.
When you have a board that you can move across, I know it's kind of limited in moves and especially police.
Uh-huh.
But if you had the moves and had the stuff to avoid the police, you could move across the board pretty far. I relate that to the gallerist. The gallerist, you could literally just go anywhere on the whole board. Zigzag across that whole map as far as you want. I like boards that are more restrictive. Like you're working to get from here to there.
I don't know what you were doing, but I had to work for everything I did in the escape plan.
But like, if you stayed kind of, well, I guess so.
I think you do. Well,
no, I see what you're saying. But that's the cops made it tough. But if you had something to avoid the cops, you could bam, 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 3 moves, you're across the board.
No.
Or a helicopter.
What, Mike had a helicopter. He paid for that.
I had a helicopter.
Well, you guys had a helicopter.
And I had the biker gang.
I didn't have a biker gang.
Well,
I didn't have a helicopter. I was out getting money.
I played the game slightly better than you did.
You did.
Which I did.
You did by like 20 grand. You went out by 20. But you're missing the point of this game.
Am I?
Yes, you are. And this is why. It's because you were too busy tied up trying to understand the game. You weren't enveloped in it. And that's why I think you need to play it again. So let me tell you a story. Let me take you and our listeners.
Says the guy that beat you.
Let me tell you a story.
It says the guy that got beat. Yeah.
There you go. Grammar.
So I understood the game. I just didn't find it as enthralling as you did. You're the type of person. No. You're the type of person. I know people like you. You're the type of person that if you like something, you think it just becomes fact that is likable.
No. Here's the thing. I need you to understand this.
Okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
You played the game.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
You played the game.
I did play the game.
But you didn't experience it. So let me tell you a story. Okay. 5 guys, rugged, manly guys, set out to rob a bank. Their leader, the slightly on the spectrum, PTSD, loving planner, we'll call him Gary, followed by the slightly obese driver, ex-truck driver named Gobby, Freak A, handsome Will Wheaton, and Mike. We go out.
Was Bubba not there?
No, Bubba wasn't there. Bubba wasn't in it. I cannot.
Are you serious?
Bubba didn't play this game. He was gone. That's exactly. Bubba was not in this game.
What in the world?
So you remember the game, but you don't remember one of the key players.
I could have swore Bubba was there.
We played this game. They go out, these 5 guys, they rob a bank, and now we split up to go get the money. The story that was told by these 5 individuals playing this game was awesome. Number 1, you hung around the middle of the board. You rarely went outside. You collected the easy money. That's why you come in third. And then you stayed by the exit, and you were like the second or third person to quickly exit. And just as a side note,
huddled in the middle of the board.
As a side note, and then you complain about how easy it is to get from one side of the board to the other. You literally stayed at the gas station and bought equipment where everybody else did not. So as people exit the board, it becomes more and more expensive for the next person to exit. They have to pay more money to get out of the city. So Gombi stood in the middle of the board. What did Enrique do? Enrique went everywhere, being hunted by the police. Enrique got shot up, hurt, whatever you call it, the entire time, chased and pursued. Chris went around gathering up his money. Mike went to the completely opposite side of the board and came in second because he went over there, collected all the money, and then the last tile come out. And that last round of us trying to figure out how to get to that escape, how to get to that point on the board, that was the game. And that stress. Everybody looked at that board, and when Chris exited and he said, okay, I have no money, I had to go out first. And we all knew that Enrique was going to get busted. Enrique was not going to be able to get off the board. If you can't get off the board, you automatically lose. Enrique pulled an amazing move and exited. Everybody thought Mike wasn't going to be able to make it. Mike took a subway.
Mike had loads of cash.
Took a subway, took a helicopter, and boom, made it. Myself, I stood right by the exit and chose not to exit. I went down at the last minute to try to grab more money because I was greedy. I wanted to win. It told a story. I had exactly this right amount of money to exit the board. Exactly. At the last minute, the last move of the game, I got out. It told a story, and that tension was there. And that's why I think if you're looking to get into a Vital Lacerda game, Escape Plan is probably the one I'd recommend. It's the lightest in my opinion.
The more exciting.
More exciting
than selling paintings.
Yes. The art and everything, the presentation about it was
making wine.
Was very, very, very nice. It's almost to the point that I think I want to buy Escape Plan.
Good luck. It's like $100.
Well,
if you can find it.
There'll be another reprinting of it here, another couple months. They just did a Kickstarter for On Mars, his newest game, and so
On Mars. Okay, one of the things I do like about Vital's games is the gorgeous components. On Mars looks atrocious.
Does it?
That board just looks like a bunch of It does. There's nothing on it. It's just like lines. I don't get it. Maybe I looked at the wrong board.
Maybe you're looking at what were you looking at?
I don't know. Maybe I had my face down on a piece of paper or something.
Who knows? But
my nose? I was looking at my nose.
Escape Plan is an interesting game.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
It was good.
Jerry's all about it. Scale of 1 to 10, what do you give it?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I don't like doing that. I don't
do
like
it.
Scales 1 to 10. 7.
Wow.
It was a 6.5, 7. I say a 7. I would definitely play it again.
I would play it again.
It was very and I think it's one that I could see myself.
Especially now that I kind of understand.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. It's the only Vital Lacerda game right now that I've played that I like. I still haven't played Vinos. But yeah.
Vinos, was that the first one?
That's the wine one. Yeah. So that's it. I love the presentation.
Well, you heard it here. 103rd. Escape Plan is a good game.
103rd.
I'm sure there's 102 other podcasts that have talked about it.
Hey, we're ranked 36th.
When?
According to Bubba.
On what?
On some podcast aggregator thing. He talked about
Bubba.com?
Bubba called me and said, hey, you're ranked the 36th best podcast about board games. And I was like, what?
No, wait. There's only 36 podcasts, though.
Hey, it's like playing a solo game and coming in second. Hey, we're good. We're good.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this one.
We apologize for being somewhat tired this podcast because, well, we're tired from BGG.
Well, I feel excellent.
I don't.
Ready to go.
I'm tired.
Excellent.
I'm super tired. Shout out to all of our fans and everybody who follows us on Instagram. We love you guys. We thank you for...
Thanks for... email us. Questions, comments.
BoardGameSnobs@gmail.com.
Follow us on IG. Leave us a review.
On the iTunes.
Oh, I meant to say this.
Okay.
I'm going to run a little long. Compared to what? I don't know. I think that's just something people say. We got a few nice reviews on... they actually describe us better than we describe ourselves. So, for instance, this one by Trevor1223. He says, I can't even explain why I love this podcast so much. I do a retro video game podcast with my best friend, Retro Blissed, and just started a board game podcast, Cardboard Bliss. I shamelessly plug just to say I'm now seriously considering ending both my shows, because what's the point when these guys do everything I could ever want in a podcast? What? Wow.
Stomping out the competition one small upstart at a time.
I mean, their opinions are way off on some games.
How dare you, sir? Trevor12.
I know where you live.
I will find you.
I don't even care. More fun than a business of ferrets.
Hey, that's a callback to the thing where I used to talk about animal groupings until you told me nobody liked it.
It is. Okay,
and you told me to stop doing it.
Here's the one, Greg602.
Okay.
Again, I don't know why I like listening to this podcast. Why do people not know why they like listening?
I don't know why we like listening.
I've only listened to one episode, and it was everything I don't want in a board game podcast. At least I thought. For some reason that I'll attempt to explain, I found it to be quite entertaining. I appreciated their lack of care when it comes to the production of their show. It felt real, casual, and refreshingly honest.
That's us.
It wasn't two dudes awkwardly talking about board games just because they like board games or because they want to be the next big BG podcast. Rather, it was two good friends. We are good friends.
We are good friends.
I love you.
I love you too.
About talking about...
Just been the whiskey.
Rather, it was two good friends talking about board games and whatever else came up organically. In episode 29 case, squirrels. Through conversation. Though, this is not the podcast for you if you're looking for quick, straight-to-the-point reviews. By no means. News or other board game-related information. That said, if you're looking for something board game-related to kill the time while allowing you to feel like you're hanging out with some cool people. Thanks, guy.
That was nice of him.
Talking about games you love/hate based on the episode I listened to, I'd recommend this podcast.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the 36th best podcast that you can be listening to related to board games.
You may not know why you like it.
Well, we don't care. We don't know why we do it.
Just give us those downloads.
So what? The downloads are pointless.
Give us them. No,
They're pointless.
that's what counts.
No, it doesn't. We don't
the
care.
downloads is all that
The
counts.
streams and the downloads don't care. We don't
Yes,
care.
they do.
If we get 1 download or 100,000
Might
downloads,
not.
we don't care.
I'm all about them stats.
Who cares? We're not making any money. Nobody.
We will.
No,
we never will without them downloads.
We'll make it. Nobody's gonna hire us to do what?
I'm gonna get a Patreon going.
To patronize what?
Help Gabby quit his job.
Please help me.
.com.
Help me stay at home
All
and
right.
review board games.
We thank you for your kind words, Trevor and Greg.
That was
And,
very nice.
We hope you're still listening. And we can't explain why you like it either, but I hope you still do. All right, well, that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, I'm Gabby.
This is Jerry.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.